Hello there, many thanks for joining us on our Friday Business News Report. It's now time to bring you the feature on the show today as we focus on Nigeria's aviation sector. Now, reactions continue to trail the statement of the Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, saying Emirates Airlines is ready to help in the process of establishing a national carrier, that's Nigeria Air. James Odaudu, Deputy Director, Press and Public Affairs, Ministry of Aviation, Tim Clark, and President of Emirates Airlines made the offer during a panel discussion at the Dubai Expo 2020 to partner with Nigeria in its quest to establish a national carrier. Now, it supported Hadi Sirika's position that Nigeria has a compelling need to establish a national carrier going by certain indices. Well, joining me now in our Lagos studio to discuss this and much more, I have Olumide Owayo, a member of Aviation Roundtable. Thank you very much for joining us on the Breakfast Show this morning, sir. Now, let's analyze the timing of this project, Nigeria Air. It's been fraught with a whole lot of conflicting opinions. The investment base it ought to wield to be able to see as well the feasibility of this project. And how do you see this partnership, especially with Emirates? How strategic would you call this, especially when we have so many calls and divergent views? Some are even saying, well, we have local players we can bring under the body of a national carrier. What do you make of all of the talks so far?
You've mentioned conflicting views and conflicting areas. I think you also missed conflicting dates.
Yes, dates as well.
Yeah, because we were told that by April this year, the airline AOC
with the wet lease exactly would take off.
And we're wondering how the minister could have announced that without having a board. But there's no office, there's nothing on ground to prove that the airline had started work. Recently, Captain Olumide was appointed as the interim MD to start the process of the AOC and the transport license and other documents necessary for the takeoff of the carrier. So the carrier cannot be ready until next year. I think what they are trying to do is to get the airline to start before the elections, which is May next year, and have it fully operational before the government hands over power to the next administration. And it's a tough call. I just hope they are able to, the next government will be able to key into the dream of the present government with respect to the national carrier. And but by and large, just like you said about the Emirates, we should be very careful we don't run into the mistakes that happened in the past with the Virgin Nigeria and the Virgin Atlantic partnership. Now, Virgin Atlantic was on the London route, and when Virgin Nigeria came aboard, instead of asking the Virgin Nigeria that was our own to operate into Heathrow Airport that they were operating, which was a prime airport, Virgin was taken to Gatwick, and there was a lot of complaint from Nigeria that why are you taking our own airline to Gatwick and not to Heathrow, which was the main airport in England, and that caused a lot of uproar, and that's what's happening now with the discussion on Emirates. Emirates already has 2 slots into Lagos, 1 into Abuja. That's 21 slots a week. Now, when you now partner Emirates, will Emirates allow our airline operating to Dubai?
Exactly.
Or will they drive our airline to Charger, like they've done to Airpeace before the government fought back during the COVID period, and they were able to release just 3 slots to Airpeace in Dubai. So that's where that's the fear you get from the industry players. I said, look, why Emirates? Will Emirates release some of the slots already given to them and allow the new carrier to operate freely into Dubai? And anywhere within the Emirates, that's very key, or else we run into that problem. Again, some of the mistakes we notice in the past is coming up again. If you remember, Virgin Nigeria did not operate from the local airport. They went to the international airport and were operating their local and international flight from there. And the other airline said, the other participants said, look, the investors in Virgin Nigeria are Nigerians. We also, like almost airlines, are Nigerians. Why are you giving them that preferential treatment to operate local flights from international airport? Then the issue of security came up. Security was pushed. By the time General Basanjo or Mr. Basanjo left office, the push was higher, and then they were able to make Virgin Nigeria to return to the local terminals. And on return, it was not. They didn't come by their own volition. They were forced to go there, and that was one of the reasons why Virgin Atlantic pulled out of the Virgin Nigerian dream, and we're back to where we are today. So I think we need to tidy some things up.
Exactly.
Zeroing down to any of the Emirates airlines, because Qatar, which was competing with Emirates, also has about 4 entry points that we in the aviation roundtable are complaining about right now, giving Qatar Port Harcourt, Abuja, Lagos, and Kano. 4 cities within Nigeria.
So for some now, which you've also highlighted, is the fact that we are not taking cognizance of the intricacies and the play out of history, and taking cues from all of this to properly guide this project and seeing it take off. Now, let's also have your thoughts as well on the investment base much more critically. Now, we've had the call for bidders to come into bear, and we are seeing the public-private partnership agenda government is also pushing. But that's also been brought to question, especially with the new terminal here in Lagos. So many questions are raised. Why is government still taking the first step? It's supposed to be a public-private partnership, limited government interference. Now, the minister has also said the process for the acquisition of air operator certificate and the air transport license is also well on course for the expected launch date of the national carrier.
Yeah.
When do you think this would likely take off? Because we've always had shift and conversations tilting to unexpected.
If you look at the last statement of the government, they announced it before the end of this administration, and I think there's no way that airline can take off this year, because they just appointed an MD. They put an interim board that will not even have the power to take strategic decisions, just to hold forth pending when the investor comes in. And here we are looking at government taking 5%, 46% going to Nigerians, making total of 51%, and 49% going to the foreign technical partner. Now, this 46% now, where the airlines operators of Nigeria are saying they are interested, Nigerians are saying, let us see what the entails, let us see in the investment portfolio what we are to bring in, and we in Aviation are saying yes, let Nigerians participate. We're talking about a national carrier because we want to participate on the international route, not on the domestic. The focus is international, because the domestic we have airlines, and airlines are still coming in and registering to join. So we are calling for a national carrier because we want a flag, a consistent flag on the international route.
Because our Basa routes are just laying redundant.
Exactly. And what is Basa is talking about reciprocity, and we've not been able to achieve that. And we've not been able to achieve that because even those airlines that are trying to do that are not having that necessary support from the government. Because once you designate it, once an airline leaves Nigeria, it becomes your flag carrier on that route. But what you have done is that once we designate an airline, we just back off. No support, no base, nothing to support as the airline goes to another country, until when we have crisis like one we had last year, and they came in, support the Emirates. So we wait for it. It cannot happen this year. Definitely cannot happen this year.
In a shorter term, let's look at your outlook as well for the aviation sector. The first quarter was a really turbulent ride for so many airlines in the country looking at aviation fuel scarcity. What do you think will play out this second quarter?
Well, I think for the domestic fares, I think they've gotten to a limit where they cannot move up, irrespective of what the fuel price would be. What they can just do now is that we have been able to establish in this first quarter that because aviation fuel is deregulated, because diesel is deregulated, there's not been enough monitoring and regulation from the oil sector. So the marketeers have been excessively from Nigerians. So that was
the bane of conversations.
That was the bane of the problem, and that was why the aviation fuel was rising astronomically. But the things are now being corrected. They've asked the airline operators to come and participate in the oil lifting, which I know they would not give to them. Which I know
they say licenses have already been issued.
I also do not support, but I believe that it will also open roads for better fuel management and fuel
We'll definitely have much more conversation on how this licenses are playing out and whether or not we're seeing airlines also getting their own fuel. Thank you so much for your time on the Breakfast Show this morning. We'll keep our tabs on this timeline government has set for the project Nigeria Air.
Thank you for having me.